Hello, welcome back. I'm Glenn. This is Lesson 2, Week 10. During this lesson, we're going to talk about how to write comparison and contrast essays, the key points of Week 10. We are also going to read a sample essay together and analyze it paragraph by paragraph. Before we go on, let's briefly review what we learned last time. We talked about comparison and contrast essays. A comparison essay focuses on similarities between two subjects, while a contrast essay mainly deals with differences. We can also find essays that cover both similarities and differences. How do we organize the ideas in comparison and contrast essays? There are two common patterns. One is the point-by-point pattern. The other is the subject-by-subject pattern. Let's look at the point-by-point pattern first. The pattern follows the typical essay structure: the introduction, body, and conclusion. Our focus here is placed on the most important part in the essay, the body. Suppose there are 3 body paragraphs. Each of the body paragraphs focuses on one similarity or difference. In the paragraph, we need to explain in what way the two subjects are similar or in what way they are different. There are 2 things we need to be careful about. The first is to maintain the order of the 2 subjects explained in each body paragraph. If we explain subject A and then subject B in the first body paragraph, we should follow the same order in other body paragraphs too. The second is to strike a balance between the 2 subjects when explaining them in each body paragraph. What do I mean by balance? If 100 words are devoted to subject A, but only 15 words to subject B, there is no balance. Readers will feel that subject B is not given a fair treatment. Now, let's take a look at an example of the point-by-point pattern. From the outline here, we can tell that it is a contrast essay talking about the differences between 2 restaurants, Mom's Hamburger Haven and Mike Foley's. There are 3 points under discussion, 3 differences. When each point is introduced, Mom's explained first and then Mike Foley's. In the discussion of all the 3 points, the same order is followed. We've seen the point-by-point pattern. Now let's move on to the second pattern, the subject-by-subject pattern. Again, let's focus on the body part. In the point-by-point pattern, ideas are organized according to similarities or differences, while in the subject-by-subject pattern, ideas are organized according to subjects. Suppose there are 3 similarities or differences under discussion. The body part can be divided into 2 sections. The first section is for subject A, and the second section is for subject B. First, we explain all of the points about subject A. When it is done, we continue to explain all the points about subject B. There are also 2 things we need to bear in mind. First, pay attention to the order of the points explained. The first point of subject A and the first point of subject B should be of the same similarity or difference. The rest of the points should be like this too. Second, there should also be a balance between the 2 subjects in terms of content and length. To have a better understanding of the pattern, we can look at this outline. It still has the same topic, the differences between two family restaurants, but there are only two parts in the body, moms and McPhoneys. When moms is talked about, food is first explained, and then service, and then atmosphere. When McPhoneys is talked about, the same order is followed. We got two patterns for comparison and contrast essays, but which pattern to choose in our writing? It depends on the length of the essay, but more importantly, the purpose of our writing. If the essay is long and involves quite a few similarities or differences, the point-by-point pattern would be a better choice. If we choose a subject-by-subject pattern in this case, it would put too much burden on readers' memory. After reading a long discussion of subject A, readers might have already forgotten what's written about subject A when they start reading about subject B. Therefore, the subject-by-subject pattern in general works better in shorter essays, where a few similarities or differences are included. In addition to the length, we also have to consider the purpose of writing when choosing the appropriate pattern. If the similarities or differences are connected to each other and our interest is in the whole, the subject-by-subject pattern is a better choice. If we tend to bring the two subjects into sharp contrast, the point-by-point pattern is more effective to bring about the effect. Now, let's read a sample essay, John and Paul, to have a better understanding of comparison and contrast essays. You can download the essay from an online course. While you read the essay, please think about the following 5 questions. I strongly suggest that you take a pause and spend 8 minutes looking for the answers before coming back to the video. I believe you have finished reading the essay. It's an easy one, isn't it? The title is John and Paul. From it, we know the two subjects, but we cannot tell whether it's about similarity, differences, or both. One of the ways to tell that is to look for the thesis statement. The thesis statement, as usual, appears at the end of the introductory paragraph. The first paragraph here, Paul does way better than John, shows it is about differences. At the same time, we can tell there are 3 differences: gentleness, romanticism, and attitudes towards life. So, we've answered the first 3 questions, haven't we? To further confirm our answers to question 3, the number of similarities, still, let's go on to read the body paragraphs. Pay more attention to the topic sentence. The topic sentence in paragraph 2 tells us the first difference, gentleness. The rest of this paragraph is all about John, subject A. It is about how not gentle he is. Paragraph 3 is all about subject B, Paul, a gentle boyfriend. And we can see that there are 2 paragraphs for the first difference. It must be an important point in the writer's mind. Let's read on. Paragraph 4 is about the second difference, romanticism, as the topic sentence shows. Subject A, John, is introduced first before subject B, Paul. In paragraph 5, we can find the third difference, attitudes towards life. John is negative, while Paul is positive. Again, John is presented earlier than Paul. So far, we've answered 3 questions. The only one left is question 4, the organization pattern used. Is the subject-by-subject pattern or the point-by-point pattern used? Let's go through the body again. The body can be divided into 3 sections according to the differences. In each section, John, subject A, is always introduced earlier than Paul, subject B. Therefore, we can arrive at the conclusion that the essay follows the point-by-point pattern. Do you think it's a good choice? The choice between the two patterns depends on the length and the purpose. The purpose is the more important factor. Let's focus on it. What's the purpose of the essay? Do you remember the thesis statement? In terms of gentleness, romanticism, and attitudes towards life, Paul does way better than John. The purpose is to show who's better than the other. The author intends to bring John and Paul to sharp contrast in order to highlight how good Paul is as a boyfriend. Isn't it the strength of the point-by-point pattern? Therefore, the point-by-point pattern is a brilliant choice to achieve the purpose. That's all for this lesson. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.